Want to call the January 18th, 2023 Local River Basin Commission to order. Everybody stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Ms. Lambert.
Thomas Lindsay,
Here.
Tom Vasecki,
Present.
Anthony Roberts, absent. Derek Bennett,
Here.
Dave Castellanos,
Here.
Ron Ware,
Here.
Robert Ochi,
Here.
Lavon Whitaker, absent. William Baker, absent.
Okay, next order of business, the approval of minutes for the December 21st, 2022 meeting.
Mr. Chairman, interim, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from December 21st of 2022.
We have a motion to approve. We have a second.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor? Roll call vote.
Thomas Lindsay,
Okay, yes.
Tom Vasecki,
Yes.
Derek Bennett,
Yes.
Dave Castellanos,
Yes.
Ron Ware,
Yes.
Robert Ochi.
Yes.
All right, next order of business, the chairman's report. The chairman is taking a much needed R&R, and I am sitting in today. Just real quick, the reason why we're here is to make sure the stuff on those pictures never happens again. We do the best we can. We're not perfect, but I think we're moving in the right direction. So with that said, at one point in time, we had zero money. Now we got a little bit of money to work with to make sure that never happens again. So we'll move on to the approval of claims.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the claims for January of 2023 in the amount of $716,471.97.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second. Ms. Lambert. Or we want to talk about, we got any questions on the claims?
So
Around the horn here. Sorry about that.
but I'll go through anything briefly, and if you have any additional questions, I'd be happy to answer. Just going sporadically here, Garcia for engineering services for INDOT inspections. They are going over all the punch list items for all the deficiencies that the Corps had found in the INDOT and trying to fix them before the new round of inspections happen for INDOT / the city of Gary, which will tentatively begin in April, beginning of April, I think it's April 10th. So they're trying to go over the dials, the gates, making sure that the flap gates are working. So they're sort of our, going to be our maintenance crew to deal with that. For a much smaller thing, but a big project, the one for $1,666, which is the 8094 crossing. That is the culvert that runs underneath the expressway at I-65 and 94 that drains Rosser Lake, that drains an area, a gentleman for the wildlife, that he's come to our meeting before, but an important conduit for a lot of the water from Lake Station and parts of Gary. So even though it's a small number, the goal is to open that up and get that to flow freely. Martin Mechanical Grand West Pump Station rebuild. I had mentioned we had pulled pump one. We had purchased a brand new sump pump. Both the sump pump and pump one have been reinstalled now as of this past Friday. We pulled pump 3 for another rebuild. This is a station that we got from the city of Gary. We didn't have any maintenance records on it, so we don't know when the last time that was done, but they had started reaching some critical areas of amount of time on those pumps. So it was figured it would be a great time to do that during winter. Lake County Board of Commissioners for $34,500. This is from a 2017-18 project from Hermit's Lake. The gentleman who was dealing with their financial reimbursement had some health issues, so it had fallen a little bit to the wayside. They had contacted us and said that we could still accept it. It was still under the terms of the amount that we approved. So this is a reimbursement for the smoke testing for Hermit's Lake. There is one additional bill or invoice out there for roughly 19,000 that you'll probably see in the near future, but and that will complete it at that point. Homer Sanitary District for 33,700. That's for the design work for Stinky Creek, lateral 6 diversion. You had seen the 50% drawings. They're still working on it. I know some folks have reviewed it with the engineers. So we anticipate that to be 90% plus in March. And then the big invoice here for Austin equipment for 496,196, which is for heart ditch stabilization. This is their first pay on it. This is about 25% done, although I think they're done a lot more than what they're billing for currently. They've had some great weather to get all this work done, and they've done it in a timely manner. We're asking them to improve their safety. We've asked the county, they're running the contract. But if you have any other questions, I think that hits most of them.
What the trail counter survey find?
They haven't installed it yet. We're the 20% match to the federal government, but we're gonna put two trail counters, one at Wicker Park and one in Hammond off of by the Wendy's, by the visitor center. That's a trail counter that all communities have participated in. They asked us if we wanted to participate as part of the Erie Lackawanna system and river trail, and so we said we would do it. It was 1,400, I think.
Yeah.
Yep, sorry.
Can I ask a question about that?
Sure.
Is there grants and stuff tied to the number of people that utilize the trail?
That I don't know. That would be more of a NERC question, but I know they got a grant to put those up.
Okay.
So we're just 20%, and then they said, well, we can install it. I said, we don't have anyone to install it, so they're gonna install it for us.
Okay.
And then the data will be available to us. They will track the data. And I would imagine that they could ultimately use that information to generate more dollars from some other source. I know the governor puts money in a lot for the crossroads.
Right.
Grants.
Anybody else?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, a couple questions, Dan. On one of the consulting bills, Garcia, Harrison Street retaining walls, and in the description towards the bottom of the bill, talks about they will repair. Is there repairs that need to be done there?
Right. So let me see if I can do this quickly, but yeah, it was outlined, it's outlined in one of our inspection reports for INDOT. The wall has been moving, and it's a wall that we access the levee on, but it's not a levee wall. That can somehow make some sense to you. But it's an access road for us that we utilize. Trying to make sure where I'm.
Do that on the big screen.
Oh, well, I'm looking for my.
This is an I-65, right? The INDOT.
It's at Harrison and I-60, Harrison and 94. Now I'm gonna share it now because I found it.
Broadway.
Back of IUN?
It's IUN, head north on IUN, and then let me get rid of some of this mess. If I can. It may not do it justice. It does.
And I guess my question is, who is the they?
They is INDOT.
Okay.
Because what we found was the Corps sent us this and said, these are collapsing, and it doesn't give you as good of a picture, but if you see these little white lines, these have collapsed a little bit. You can see how it's a little bit off. This is actually a mound of dirt that is like a ramp. It's ramped up to this. Can't get the effect, but it's there. The Corps was worried that this wall was shifting. What we have determined is the wall isn't shifting. It's just the crowns of the caps that have been dislodged, either human or some other way. And what INDOT's going to come in is basically get rid of, my understanding is going to get rid of these crowns and just engrade it out as just to be consistent. But there's a sheet pile underneath here that they have utilized as a part of their levee. So that's what the Corps wanted us to make sure that the wall hasn't shifted. We have said that the wall isn't shifted, but we still want that fixed because we don't want it to be an ongoing issue. They have documented it as far as an issue for us in our inspection. So it should be a part of the NDOT checklist.
And that needs to be fixed before the April inspection.
If we show them that we're working towards it, what they will do is, since we don't know if we can get it all accomplished by that, they will note that in the inspection, and then when we finish, we send them the picture of the finished product, or they'll put out inspector, and then they take pictures.
And then my other question was one of the bill for United Consulting for the Wicker Park storm water lift station. It shows that the billing is about 50%. Have you been given, and maybe I missed it, any updates on the design or anything yet, since they're at that level?
Yeah, so let me see, I gotta get faster over here to the west. Well, we were just there, actually. That's Highland. The answer to the question is yes, we have. There's a 3-part project to what they're designing. The first part is, and I'm going to zoom in on it. This, a little farther, too far away. This here is a sluice gate, believe it or not. The problem with it, I can't zoom in any further, is you have to lift this gate up, and it's a hatch. The hatch, I tell you, it weighs more than 100 pounds. You have to lift it, then you send someone down into it to do a gate, and it's quite honestly, it's probably the most unsafe situation we have. So they're building it above ground, just like all the other ones that exist. So that's one thing they're doing, and I'm going to go the opposite direction, and I'm heading to this other one here. And just so you know, this is the Wendy's, the visitor center's up here. Here's another gate. Now in this isn't even a gate. There's actually a manhole that you can barely make out. The way it's designed, the way the system in this section is designed, is all the water is supposed to collect in Optimus Lake, ultimately drain through this opening and get out to the river. What happens is, because of this build or this poor design, is this gate fails a lot. And so the water from here is making it through to, and actually flooding the pond. The pond's running behind the hotels and the visitors center. There is no secondary closure device on this. What they recommend, and they, meaning the Corps, recommended how to fix this, is if this happens again, you open the manhole, dump a bunch of sandbags down it, and that's how you stop the backflow. So what United is doing is designing another secondary closure structure, so it'll all be consistent. We drive down the sheet pile, stop the water from flowing. And then the third item, and I'm gonna get you guys all lost again, is the area for the Wicker Park drainage. Too far. Is the Wicker Park drainage, and that's this. And we're working with NDOT as well on this issue. I gotta break it out. The Wicker Park is designed to flood. The lowest part on Wicker Park is this pond. Currently, when it floods, Wicker Park brings out a tractor from 1922. They hook up a pipe and they drain it into this little ditch here that you barely can make out. This is a brand new pump station NDOT design. There's two things so they've stopped designing this thing while we try to acquire this pump station from NDOT. Because if we can acquire it and they allow us to acquire it, we can simply just build a culvert into this ditch. And then, I wish I could zoom in further, but you see this little inlet here for the pump station? It's set purposely by NDOT at a much higher level so that they don't take in that water. But if we were to acquire it, we would lower this inlet. This pump station has plenty of capacity. And the further irony is United was the same engineering firm that designed this pump station that is designing ours. So they know there's the capacity available. NDOT has stated to us they have no problem doing that because they don't want to own pump stations. It would be beneficial for us. They already pay Highland to run the pump station. So they don't even run it themselves, but their main priority for us is to get us the Grant West pump station. So hopefully it doesn't take as long, but they want to give us this, but they want to focus more so on the one on Grant. So that's the long-winded answer to your question.
Question, that pump station handles what water?
What area?
Is that for the new bridge on Indianapolis?
No, it only handles Indianapolis Boulevard up to Cabela's. It doesn't even handle the interchange. I'll show you the one that does. And then it handles all the water up to the bridge and then some of this area. Not all of it, because Highland's got their pump station at 81st sitting right here. So it's an overbuild for a very small area. The pump here, I hope you can catch it, but you see this little.
I don't want to hear.
Yeah,
Can
go
you
ahead.
answer your question?
Yes, yeah, I said yes.
Can we hold that until you can get into the weeds when you do your thing? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. I'll start
No,
here.
it's okay. I mean,
We're still on claims?
yeah, we're still on claims.
I was answering.
Anybody else got a question of the claims?
Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. Mrs. Lambert?
Thomas Litzke,
Yes.
Tom Geiseke,
Yes.
Derek Nivens,
Yes.
Dave Castellanos,
Yes.
Ron Ware,
Yes.
Robert Oshie.
Yes.
All right. Now let's go to the executive director.
There you go.
report, where you can.
Well, I'll
Go back
start-
to, can you go back to the first one where they're gonna put the mechanical one in? Where is that again?
Right here, right, this is in Highland, right by the truck stop.
Okay, I know where, that's off Boulevard.
Correct, so this is where it used to be the bus terminal, this is the area,
Gotcha.
it's HA something. And there's already an outfall. So to get in the weeds on this one, during high rain events, you will see NDOT put a pump up on top of the levee that will have the hose inside and the discharge on the outside. There's a pipe, the pipe that drains their interchange runs, and if you could find, so this is White Castle and the B&B's back here. So it goes all the way through here and then cuts across into all these interchanges to drain. Back in 2010, they talked about, as a part of their study after the 2008 rain event, that they wanted to put a lift station at this location. And I would not be surprised if one day they still want to do that, because during high rain events, they have to do it manually, and they don't want to do that. But that's what they do, and so that's the 2 cents report. You have it? Sure, all right. We'll talk about, we've already talked about Grant Street, sorry, I was one of my report, Grant Street pump station, about the changing out. They have now pump 3, that usually turns around in a month, so we won't pull any more this year for the fact that now start getting into February and March, and then you start getting into a little bit wet season. Gary Griffith Lomar, Gary's has the ball in their court. They've got to drive this through FEMA. FEMA and the Corps have some issues, not necessarily our issue. Hard ditch bank stabilization, we talked about it. I believe they're more than 25% done, although they're only billing at 25%. Residents are relatively happy. There are some safety concerns. We've been trying to address it with the contractor. Hopefully the contractor goes above and beyond what their contract states as far as keeping it secure. Going to real estate, we're looking to acquire those parcels from North Township. We're still waiting for approval on 12 parcels from the Army Corps that we have submitted some time ago. And we've submitted nearly 125 parcels to the county requesting for acquisition through a tax sale certificate on from them, which that is their project. All of them are generally inside the river or adjacent to our project. Future projects, we're going to continue bank stabilization, Hartsdale Pond, which is off of Kennedy Avenue. There have been some talk about redoing the Lake George Hobart Dam. Hobart Lake Station, New Chicago with the Stinky Creek diversion, they'll be coming for an application. A new application will be going out, I hope, February 1st to all new, it's a new application that is sort of revised, made it easier for you guys. It touches a lot of the questions that you generally ask and that weren't in the application. Now we've taken those questions and put them in the application. So hopefully it'll be a better, easier opportunity for you guys. We're doing some of the studies as we talked about in one of our work study sessions. Was it September, where we're modeling Katy Marsh, we're modeling the rest of Deep River. We're gonna do some areas that we believe that the Corps may have. We want to double check some of their work in some of the overflow areas, especially off the Rookery, the diversion tunnel, or some of the railroad tracks off of Martin Luther King. And that's pretty much it, unless you have some questions.
Anybody? Other issues? We have no new business on the agenda tonight. Statements from the floor. Anybody like to come up and make a comment? Feel free to do so. All right. Go around the horn. Mr. Witter,
No comments at this time.
Mr. Gostecki,
Nothing to add.
Eric.
Nothing to add. Thank you.
There we go. Robert.
Nothing.
All right. David.
Just a short comment to let you know that we had a really great program on WLTH with Jerry Davidge from the Times on, along with Dan and Steve Mays from the NAACP, talking about the projects that we've accomplished in a very good program. And also there's a program saluting Martin Luther King holiday. That's it. Thank you.
All right. Our next meeting will be on February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day. So we have no new business. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All right. Mrs. Lambert?
Thomas Murphy,
Yes.
Tom Gosecki,
Yes.
Derek Nivens,
Yes.
Dave Castellanos,
Yes.
Ron Ware,
Yes.
Robert Oates.
Yes.
All right. See everybody next month.